Greens, everyone. Core here. It's time for another midnight review. And tonight, I went to go see The Dark Tower, which originally I didn't even know about they were making a movie for until I saw a trailer during one of the one of the movies I saw earlier in the year, and it hooked me in pretty well. The trailer was done really well. I think the story seems really interesting, and I mean, I put it on my list for movies I was gonna see this summer, and it was okay. I don't know. Maybe just wasn't in too much of a mood for it, or um, maybe I've just seen too many movies this summer so far. But overall, it was alright. It's a good movie if you're interested in any of the actors in it. They do all Matthew McConaughey, um, Idris Elba, and even the kid's pretty good too. But it's definitely a good movie, and it's worth your money if you want to see it. So that's minutes over. Now let's get into the more in depth. Um, Overall, I try not to give these movies a rating. I try just to say, if it's good and what reasons why it is good, and who would this would be good to, who would it be good for. And overall, they do try to hit every demographic in this movie, more or less. Kids not too much, but they do go for that younger crowd, and I think it works pretty well. It's just the movie's only an hour and a half, and considering it's a Stephen King, based on Stephen King novels, that's, I don't know. I mean, I would hope they make more, which would be pretty cool, because I think they do have enough source material to make more. And from the end credits, there is a little teaser. There's not like It's not like a Marvel end credit scene, where you get a good 20 to a minute, end credit scene. It's just a little snippet, but some people are saying it's just part of the soundtrack. Some people are just saying it's not really there. But there's something there, but it's not really worth waiting for. You could just Google it to see what it's supposed to be. So don't worry about that. It doesn't really set up anything, in particular. I think they're hoping this movie does well. Maybe they'll dive back into this world, which it's a pretty interesting world. It's one of those parallel universe kind of things, and how everything kind of revolves around each other, but also you're all in the same space, and the Dark Tower is protecting all the universes from these evils, which are pretty interesting. You did get a little look at them, and what they can do, and it's pretty cool to see the gunslingers in action. Granted, there's only really one that you mostly focus on, but it's still pretty interesting to see. Like I said, the movie is just, it's short. It's a really brisk pace. It really keeps going. It's not short like how Dunkirk is, which, yeah, Dunkirk, for Christopher Nolan, it's hour 50 minutes. It says a lot and gives you a lot of depth and a lot of information. This one works pretty well because it's a story you've seen before, kind of, in a way. It's just, of course, a different setting, and then it's just a different end game, and but you've seen this bad guy before, you've seen this good guy before, you've seen the kid, of course, come around and help the good guy become a good guy. So you've seen pretty much all the pieces in this movie, and the action scenes are pretty interesting. There's one big action scene which is a little bit in the trailers, but it's pretty interesting to see nonetheless. There's a few little bait and switches that go, little red herrings here and there that kind of seem like it's gonna go one way, but then it doesn't, because, like I said, it's just too short. It needs an extra half an hour. It needs maybe even an extra hour, and I think it would make it a lot more interesting, because they could draw out more relationship between the kid and the gunslinger, between the man in black and everything else, and just the whole world and how it works, as far as I believe they call it what did they call it, because Earth is called Keystone Earth, and this, I think they call it Mid Earth, or no, Mid World was the gunslinger's home, and the man in black's home, which is pretty interesting. But I feel like they needed like another hour, half an hour at least, just to draw this out, to make it more interesting, because there's a lot there, and I kind of want to read the books now to read all about what's there, which if that's their intention to get people interested in, the novels, then I think it worked. It's definitely making me interested in probably picking up the graphic novels, or the novels. Just stop saying graphic novels. But yeah, it's, I don't know. Today's just been really hot. You can probably see I'm sweating a little bit because I have to turn off my fan so it doesn't pick up too much on the mic. But yeah, man, just today was just really busy for me. So maybe I just wasn't in the right state of mind, and I just wasn't taking in the movie as enjoyable as I usually do, considering Dunkirk kind of burnt me out, and Valerian was pretty okay. I guess that's what I could say about this movie and Valerian. They're okay. They're good. They're worth it if you're interested in seeing them. But it's just they're nothing too. How should I say? It's nothing too. It's something you've seen it before, and it's nothing that's too out of the ordinary, in this kind of movie. So it's not too crazy, but it's still a good movie nonetheless. It's definitely, we see it on TV, or we end up renting it later on. It's worth it. It's a good hour and a half. It's really interesting to see how this story falls out. And Stephen King's even said it's a simple story. There's a tower, there's a man in black that wants to destroy the tower, and then there's the gunslingers who protect the tower. So it's it is what it is. I mean, it's nothing too crazy, but you could make it a little more in depth, and I'm sure the novels do go more in depth. I think it got gutted pretty good, just like the Harry Potter books and stuff and other ones. But yeah, overall it's good. Like I said, the actors do really fine jobs. The settings are really cool. It's interesting to see how the world blends, and it's interesting to get a little feel of the mid world and how they work compared to Earth. So it was alright. I don't regret it. I saw it in Dolby Atmos theater, so the picture is just amazing. I think I'm just gonna have to see everything in Dolby, because after seeing what was it? Last week was I forgot what I saw last week because it wasn't that great. Atomic Blonde. Yeah. After seeing that in a regular theater, I got spoiled with Dolby Atmos, so I got to see everything in Dolby Atmos just because the projector's so much nicer. But overall, like I said, The Dark Tower was interesting enough to warrant seeing it in the theater, and I think that's good enough for most people. But if you're not too interested in it, yeah, then you can skip it. Wait, until it's out on DVD or Blu-ray and check it out, or if it shows on TV, check it out. But that's that for this week, and I do not have anything planned next week because there's not really a movie coming out next week that I'm interested in. I believe the next one I will probably be seeing is The Hitman's Bodyguard, which everyone's just joking about it, that it's literally Nick Fury from Marvel and Deadpool from Marvel, just like a buddy movie, which it just looks hilarious and fun. So that will probably be the last movie for my summer reviews. I'll probably definitely still see a few other movies, but as far as the summer movies, that will probably be the last one. And then I'll probably do my top, I think it's probably going to be top 5 best and probably top 5 worst. And we'll see how that looks like. If not, I'll just do a top 10 best at least, because there wasn't too many bad movies I saw this year. But yeah, so far so good. So far mediocre, I guess, is good enough, right? But until next time, guys, later.